Thank you. Yeah, mine's a bit crazy today.
Dahlia Stroud, welcome to Yellow Shelf. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Oh, not as excited as me. I can't believe you said yes to coming on. Your podcast is stressed but well dressed, and I love it. You have done so many episodes, more than 125 episodes, 12 seasons about. Congratulations.
Well, 12 seasons. I think it's 127 episodes now, and it's just continuing to grow.
Tell us all about it. What do we need to know? If we're listening, tell us about this podcast.
Okay, so the idea of the podcast is that clothes are one of the many tools you have to help you build your confidence. And actually, I love the idea that well dressed is not about a fashion statement. Well dressed is about a state of mind. So it's setting yourself up for success in whatever you need to face that day. So I bring guests on from all walks of life. I've had amazing journalists who've been the editor in chief of Vogue for 25 years, but I've also had people who are doctors in the emergency room, psychologists, firefighters, and got all of their views on what it means to be well dressed. So, what does confidence look like to them? What does it mean to put your clothes on and go to work every single day? And how do you set yourself up for success? And the stories that I have heard linked to clothes and confidence have been phenomenal.
And that really simple philosophy about what we wear and how we feel, and then also how we show up, is such a wonderful way of thinking about how we dress.
It is. And what's interesting is that we all get dressed every single day. So it's relatable for everyone in that way. A lot of people say to me, oh, I'm not sure because, I'm not into fashion. But as I said, it is not about fashion, it's about mindset. We all make a choice to put something on to clothe our body. And that something is our identity. So whether it's an identity that says, I'm not bothered, so I'm just going to wear something really plain and I'm going to use my voice to speak, or it's an identity where actually you want to be known for something or you want to represent something and you therefore choose certain clothes to demonstrate a status or demonstrate belonging. Or it might be that you want to make that fashion statement, you want to make that wow, you want to make people's heads turn when you walk through the room, and therefore you're choosing your clothes accordingly. Your clothing is your self-expression. It's how you choose to express yourself. And the sooner that we realize that the sooner we can use it as one of those tools, as I said, to help us show the world who we are.
Yeah. And you skimmed over it, but your guests, really diverse, corporate, trade, fashion, just really interesting people sharing. And one of the first things you do in your podcast is you ask your guests about a moment that's fashionably memorable for them. And I think that's really interesting way to start the show. It really sets the tone and able to share.
It's really interesting. And what I love about it is I always send guests a list of questions first, or at least a framework of what we're going to talk around. But I don't put in that question. And it's the icebreaker. It's the tell me a memorable fashion moment. And the reason why I ask them it on the spot, and the same thing happens every single time, I tell the guest, oh, look, by the way, after I introduce you, I'm going to ask you your most memorable fashion moment. And ones who haven't listened yet suddenly look a little bit aghast. And then 3 seconds later, they're like, I've got it. Or they're like, I've got so many, I'm just thinking about which one to choose. Because I think when you say it to people, a moment where clothes have really influenced a story or made you feel a certain way, the good, the bad, the ugly, everyone's got something where clothes have played a role in how they felt.
So true. And Dahlia, tell us a bit, what do you want to share about you and this journey as a podcaster? Tell us what we need to know.
Okay, so I think I'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So stressed but well dressed was me. So I had a big corporate job. I had lots of people working for me. I had a big career, and then I got made redundant. It happened overnight, and it was really shocking for me and a massive knock to my own confidence. And the way I would describe it was that I was all dressed up and nowhere to go. I loved getting dressed, but it wasn't just about the clothes. Part of my well dressed was about my experience, the degree I had, all of the years that I'd had in the industry I worked in. And I really felt like I'd lost my voice. I worked in buying, and when you aren't a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, something where you've got a rubber stamp against you, when you're not what you were, it's hard to work out who you actually are going forwards. And I realized I wanted to find a way to share my voice. And Stressed but Well Dressed became a way to share my voice and my story. And clothes became the way to do that. And as I started to talking to people about it, more and more, I realized that everyone had a story attached to outfits and clothes and confidence that they want to share too. So it became so much more than my story. And I always say, every outfit has a story. What's yours? Because I want people to think about actually how do they, as I said, express themselves? How do they tell their story through what they wear?
Yeah. And Dahlia, a really personal trigger around redundancy and that real emotional roller coaster, and then, channeling it into a podcast show that just gives back to others.
Yeah, and that sounds like a perfect story, doesn't it? It sounds like, yeah, it was
Yeah,
difficult and then I
easy.
made some
Yeah,
amazing out of it. And it was, a little bit more complicated and
of
gritty like
course.
that, than like that, like life is. But I think for me, it was the ability to build my own confidence through
Yes.
sharing my voice in a different way and putting myself out there and being comfortable with being uncomfortable in many different aspects of my working life at that time. And I think, we have stressors on us all the time. In fact, I did a really interesting episode very early on called What is Stress, where we talk about the 4 different stressors that we have on us at any one time. And all of that has been learning for me. I learned some fantastic things through my guests. And, that is my hope that listeners are doing the same thing.
Yeah. And look, one of my personal favorite episodes goes back about 18 months. And it's when I actually discovered your show with Cindy Gallop. I'd seen her talk at South by Southwest. And next thing you know, she's on your show. And I have been listening ever since. But her share with you, her share around fashion, her share around her journey, just makes the episodes really interesting and powerful.
Cindy Gallop was one of my most thought-provoking guests.
Yeah.
And I make I research, host, produce, edit, market the whole thing myself. I'm a one-woman band,
Yeah.
but my husband often has to listen to it with me. And he listened to Cindy's and he was like, wow, she knows what she's talking
Yeah.
about. And actually, one of the quotes that Cindy said really, really stuck with me. She talked about embracing our bodies, and the internet and what it's done to our perception of beauty. And she says, go for a walk in the park on a sunny day, look around you at the couple sat there like laughing, enjoying themselves, loving each other. And those are real people with real bodies. And that is the type of body that in reality everyone loves. So like lift your head away from your phone and go and look around you at the people in the world that we're living with who are loved and loving other people. And I just thought that was such a beautiful description of life and how we should enjoy it.
So true. Well, look, I'm going to put the link in the show notes to Cindy's episode, to all your episodes. Dahlia, you have a fabulous website. Or point us in the direction if people are watching, they're curious, they want to know more about you, they just want to embrace what you do. Point us in the direction of where to go.
Okay, so obviously become a follower of Stress But Well Dressed podcast on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to see more about me and some of the behind the scenes of the show and the upcoming guests, come and follow me at Stress But Well Dressed _podcast on Instagram, or join me on LinkedIn, Dahlia Stroud. I'm talking about my podcast. I'm talking about guests. I'm talking about my own story with clothes and confidence to inspire other people to reflect on theirs.
Fabulous. I'll put all those links in. It has been my pleasure to chat. I'm so grateful that you said yes, came on, shared your fabulous show. And I really do hope people listen in and support you.
Am I allowed to ask you one question?
You can ask me.
Are you stressed or well dressed?
Well, as our time difference, it's evening for me, so I'm not feeling stressed. I'm probably feeling shiny at this time of night, but yeah, no, I was very mindful that I wanted to come on with a nice sparkly top, in talking to you tonight.
Well, you've brought some joy to my morning, so thank you.
All the best. Cheers.
Thanks.